You're watching the Batter Fans Network.
Chris, you're still on vacation. Welcome everybody to episode number 473 of the Batter Heroes Podcast. I'm your host, and alongside me is not Mr. KBD. He's living his rich life. We're here still slumming and bumming here in Miami, but optimistic for 2026. And this actually will not be a very long show. It was kind of just spontaneous thing. More than anything, because I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Drive Pink, Scotty and Soar. They had a show, and I used to be a content consumer like crazy. I used to consume everything that came out into Miami. I would listen to and watch. Unfortunately, now with three babies, full time job, new job, and just I don't get to listen and watch as much other things as I used to, and because I really enjoy hearing other people's opinions. But I wanted to shout them out because yesterday I had some downtime in the house and I came across an episode that they did where they were talking about Mascherano. So shout out to them if you want to listen to it. I think it's a great episode. I think they did a great job breaking things down. But I think it was a little doom and gloom. So shout out to them. I disagreed with them, but obviously it was after the fact. They didn't watch it live. I think that ultimately, and I didn't get to watch all the way to the end. Maybe they at the end they punctuated it another way, but I think that Mascherano has grown into a good coach. I think that we have to give him that benefit of the doubt. And I wanted to come on here and talk about it, and we'll see. I didn't promote this or anything, so I don't know how many people in the chat going to join us. Shout out to you from Chicago and One World, One Goal. But I wanted to talk about Mascherano just because I think that we need to give him his flowers. I gave him a lot of crap throughout the year. I gave him a lot of crap before I even before he even started the job when we first got hired because I wasn't a fan. And the reason I want to, so let me preface this by saying the reason I'm not a fan. I wanted to Miami play the friendly in Venezuela. With everything that's been going on today, I don't know what that's going to look like. Possibly not. I know that Solano was saying that Nacional in Uruguay has been trying to get them to go down to Nacional to play a game. So if Venezuela isn't an option, maybe they change it up with the Nacional game. But like I was saying, when Mascherano first came aboard, I wasn't a fan. Not because I do not think that it's not that I think he's incapable of being a good manager. I thought that bringing on a first-time club manager for a team that is win now and needs to win multiple trophies was a mistake. Now, I understand the connection with Messi and Suarez and all the boys, but I felt like there's going to be a lot of growing pains when you have a first-time coach. And we saw them. We saw the growing pains. We saw the fact that he was very rigid, very stubborn in the way he was coaching. The defense was looking poor, but he wouldn't change things up. The first time I saw him make any type of adjustment was for the Club World Cup, where he kind of gave up possession and was playing more vertical, the counter play, which looked pretty good when we did it in the Club World Cup. But I felt like he was very stubborn with a lot of things that he was doing. He had a really rough go with the Champions Cup with those games against Vancouver, and they got spanked against Minnesota, and it was just a really tough go for a while. But as the season went on, I think that he started to grow into the position. And you can say that without, and I agree, without Messi, this team doesn't win the cup, right? I get it. It wasn't Mascherano, it was Messi, 100%, especially the way Messi ended the year. But Mascherano has to get some credit for that. Mascherano is the one that puts the team in positions to help Messi. He changes the formation. He's the one that sets the team up and aligns the team so that they can improve defensively. And I think that it's impossible to say that there wasn't substantial improvement from the beginning all the way to the end. Like, yeah, we knew that there was going to be growing pains. Like, he had never coached a team like this. And remember that not only is he coaching a team like this for the first time, a club team where he was accustomed to coaching I think it was the U18, the U20 Argentina team. But so now he has a team that he's coaching every day, and they're playing for a full season. And he comes from, his background is in Europe. He played for Barcelona. He is accustomed to the travel in Europe. Like, he's not accustomed to the travel here. Like, there's so many things that people need to adjust to when they come to the MLS that people don't take into consideration. And it's a big transition just moving to this league. Then you move to this league. You have the highest profile team in the league, the highest expectations in the league, and it's your first time doing it. I think that was the biggest reason why I didn't want him hired, was because of his lack of experience. I thought that we needed somebody that with experience that could kind of get us to where we needed to be without having those growing pains. But they decided to go Mascherano anyway, and we had to sit through the growing pains, and it was frustrating. People were calling for his job before the Club World Cup. People were saying, let's get this done before the Club World Cup, and maybe somebody else comes in and takes over. Nobody else is going to take over. Like, everybody should understand that whether you like it or not, there has to be some type of messy connection to whoever gets hired here as an MLS coach. Mascherano has that. Tata had that. Unless it's Xavi, nobody else is going to have that, at least not that comes to mind. So I knew that he wasn't going to go before the season was over. Now, if he failed to win the MLS Cup, maybe in December, January, then we hear about a new hiring. But I knew he was going to write out the year. Now, it was just how bad was it going to be? How long was he going to take to improve? And I think that he started growing into the job as the year went along. I think he did a good job. In Leagues Cup, my favorite moment, obviously, is when he got kicked out of the game and he started coaching from the sidelines or from the bleachers. Like, and that's just a funny moment, but I loved his personality. I thought he was good with the media. He was very transparent. And if you're going to tell me that you don't think that he improved, I think that you are dead wrong. From October on, they played 9 games, starting October 4th or whatever. It was the first game of October. From then until they won the MLS Cup game, they lost 1 game against Nashville. And if you aggregate all those scores, the aggregate score for October, November, and December in those 9 games is 33-8. Now, you can say that you don't want to give Mascherano any of that credit. I think you're dead wrong if you say you don't give him any of that credit. Like, he had to do, like, if they play poorly, you blame it on him. You have to give him some credit for it. I know Messi was also playing out of his mind during that time. But Mascherano, he started trusting the young guys. He stopped playing Toto Aviles, which he was playing at the beginning of the year. He stopped with the Lujan experiment, which was going on for most of the year also. That was him. Chelo Wegan, although I think he's a decent right back, he stopped starting Chelo Wegan. He started Ian Frey moving forward. He gets credit for these decisions. Like, does he not? The only decision that I think that was frustrating throughout the year that nobody understood was the Allende. We're like, Allende keeps playing horribly. Why do you keep starting Allende? Bench Allende. And that's something that people kept hammering home. Stop starting Allende. But look how he ended the season. He ended up being right ultimately with the way Allende ended up finishing the season. So he has to get credit for that also. Like, you can't take credit away from that. Ustari is the starting keeper for the majority of the year. And what happens? Was it the last game or the game before last of the regular season? He switches to Rocco, and we think, oh, maybe it's just to give Ustari 1 game rest. No. He put Rocco in, and he let Rocco finish the season. Like, those are big decisions made by Mascherano. Like, he wasn't stubborn. At first, I think to start the season, he was a little bit rigid. But he loosened up. You know what it is to start a brand new young keeper, an inexperienced MLS keeper? Like, he played with the Atlanta Academy, I believe, and then he played with the USL with the Phoenix Rising. But, like, he wasn't very experienced in MLS. And you put him in at the end of the season when the games matter the most, and you say, I'm making the switch. I'm not going back to Ustadi. I'm going to rock it out with Rocco Rios. That's a big decision to make, and he made that decision. Like, I think that he needs to get a little more credit for what he's doing. And then at the beginning of the season, he would take like a 1-0 lead, and then he would, like, in the 60th minute, all right, let's put in Toto Aviles as like a third center back. Let's put in Yannick Bright, and let's just hold down this lead. And that's how they were playing for the most part for the first half of the season or so. Like, let's win 1-0, and let's hold it down. Let's lock it down. Let's stop being aggressive. Towards the end of the season, it's a lot more vertical, very aggressive. You take a 1-0 lead, all right, let's try to get the second. Let's try to get the third. He was a lot more vertical passing also. Like, it wasn't so much possession, but it was a lot more purposeful passing. A lot of vertical, direct passing up top. That's why Allende was getting so many more opportunities towards the end of the year. That's why we started getting so frustrated with him, because he had so many opportunities. And then, look, they run up the score the last 2 months of the season. Like, he needs to get some credit for that. He also took this lead, even though it was frustrating the way he did it. We went further in Champions Cup than we had before. We made it to the semifinal, although we bowed out pretty ugly. We went ahead and we changed the way we played in the Club World Cup. We started playing the counter, and it worked. We beat Porto. We didn't lose until we played against PSG. You can't tell me that he doesn't get that credit for that also. And then in the League's Cup, we made it all the way to the final. Whereas the year prior, we got eliminated by Columbus. I think it was in the quarterfinal. I know we didn't like the way that final ended, but I think that was the low point of the season, and things started picking up after that. Mascherano, not the best coach in the world. I'm not going to say he is. I think he was a frustrating hire because we had to go through the growing pains. But we went through the growing pains, and I think we ended up on the better end of it at the end. He ended up holding that trophy. And after holding that trophy, I mean, can you dispute that it was the right decision to keep him? Like, this is what really matters. He got the trophy. He is now an MLS Cup champion manager, and you can't take that away from him. I think that, and again, shout out to Drive Pink. I felt like it was a doom and gloom kind of episode, but they did do a great job of breaking it down. But again, they made a lot of changes. They made a lot of changes, and he made a lot of changes throughout the year, and I think that it worked. He stopped playing Segovia so far out wide as much. He played Messi as the false nine. The biggest decision was probably to leave Luis Suarez on the bench once he got suspended, and the suspension was over against Nashville, right? Suarez donkey kinks a Nashville player. He gets suspended. Spezia starts, and Mascherano keeps him on the bench. That's a huge decision. I think people might be before that game happened, we were all in agreement. Like, there's no way he does it. We're just hoping that he puts in Silvetti in the 70th or 60th minute and puts Suarez back on the bench. But there was no chance that he was going to start Suarez on the bench and make a Silvetti the starter. But it was the right decision, and he went with the right decision. So I am 100% on the Mascherano boat because I think that he had made some tough decisions. The fact that Luis Suarez didn't get on the pitch at all in the final, that is wild. Who saw that coming? No, I don't think anybody saw that coming. So I think that it was a good day, a good season. I'm sorry, for Mascherano. Ultimately, it started off rough. Did he meet expectations? No, unfortunately not, because the expectation was multiple trophies. So he didn't meet expectations. But when you look at it overall as a coach, what he did, what he brought to the team, and how he developed, I think that we have the right guy moving forward. I think that with his experience now, I think that he's going to do much better next year. He's now accustomed to the travel, to the congested schedule, and then just to the MLS in general. I think he figured out. I think he has the sauce now. Look, in the last 9 games, 33-8 is the aggregate score for those 9 games. That's a pretty good aggregate score. And then Mr. Preach saying he won the treble. Technically, he won the treble. What was it? It was the MLS Cup, the Eastern Conference Cup, and then the Las Vegas Preseason Cup. Those are the facts. He won the treble. Those are the facts. I see a lot of people in the chat talking about a Bolivian kid. I'm not sure who that is. I thought it was a Paraguayan kid, but maybe it's an 18-year-old kid. But because it's just rumors at the moment, I haven't wanted to talk about it. I try my best to not talk about anything until it's a foregone conclusion. But I will tell you, the more time passes, the more doubt I have about Lo Celso joining the team. We are now on January 3rd. I keep hearing that he wants to go back to Real Betis, especially since Isco is not down with an injury. So now in the chat, do me a favor. I want to know what you guys think. And like already if you haven't, subscribe if you haven't. But in the chat, do you think that Mascherano is the right guy for the job? Like, are you satisfied with him as the coach? I think after winning the MLS Cup, I think just about everybody says yes, because that's what we got the star on the crest. You know what? Better question for the chat. Not are you happy? Do you think he improved? And again, that's another yes, right? So I don't think there's any way to ask this question without everybody being positive, because we ended up on top. We ended up as the MLS Cup champs. Mr. saying yes for now. Yeah, well, I mean that's how it is for most managers, right? Most managers win a trophy, and then the next season they don't, and they're out the door because everybody kind of loses hope and gets frustrated. But again, I think Mascherano is the right guy. I think we have developed a good coach, which is ultimately the whole point of this episode, was to say I was questioning him because of his inexperience. I thought that there was a chance that he could grow into it, but I didn't want to have those growing pains because I wanted multiple trophies. Ultimately, we did have to go through those growing pains. Ultimately, we did not get the multiple trophies, but ultimately, I think he ended up developing into a good coach. And I mean, the proof will be in the pudding, right? Because right when the season starts in 49 days, and soon thereafter, we have Champions Cup against either Nashville or Ottawa, and then after that, probably Club America in the semifinals or quarterfinals. And that's when we're really going to see it, because we really want to see, and shout out to Lauro from Haiti, because we want to see multiple trophies this year. Right, that's the goal. We got the MLS Cup. That was the initial goal. We're happy with that. But now it's time to win multiple trophies. Now it's time to win the Champions Cup. And I think Mascherano is the man to do it. I really do. I think that he has now the experience, and I think that he is the guy to get the job done. So I'm happy with Mascherano, which is surprising because there was some doubts, right? Back in like April and May during that really rough run, it was doubtful because the team was looking really bad. But we'll see. And again, for those waiting for Lo Celso, like I said, reports from, I think it's from Europe, saying that he wants to go back to make sure that he makes the Argentina national team. I wouldn't bank on him. Now, who we're gonna get, I don't know. I have heard rumblings that Allende might come back, which I thought was a foregone conclusion that he wouldn't. But that is that I don't mind Allende coming back. I just don't want him back for the DP contract that it will probably take, because I'm assuming if they have the $10 million dollar clause to buy him out from Celta Vigo, I think that's a bad move. You cannot spend the DP contract on Allende. Now, maybe he'll prove me wrong, and he will end up picking up right where he left off in the playoffs, and it'll be like, you know what, great decision. But I trust numbers, and for the bulk of that season, Allende was not a good player. So we'll see. And then Mark Nevares saying, Michelle said yesterday her sources have Allende coming back. Oof. All right. Well, hopefully he proves it. Look, if that's the fact, then I trust Michelle Kaufman, because Michelle Kaufman is in the know. So if Michelle Kaufman says he's coming back, I think that there is a good chance that he's coming back. But now the worry is, honestly, if he'll be a DP player. I do not want him as a DP player. He is not worth a DP contract because he is not a consistent player. And again, maybe I'll be rocking a I'm sorry Allende shirt to the Miami Freedom Park when he signs a DP contract and he's leading the league in goal scoring by the time April 4th comes around. Maybe that'll be the fact. And look, I'll be happy to take that L if that happens, but I don't see it, man. I really don't want him as a DP player. But look, if Michelle Kaufman says it, there's definitely some legs to that then. So we'll see. And then Boss Daddy's asking, no new home jersey, just the way. Yes, the only jersey we're getting this year is the away jersey, the dark jersey. We're still going to have the pink stripe jersey. The dark jersey will be new. For those of you that haven't seen it, let me pull it up real quick. It's this one with the collar and obviously the beautiful little star there. But I saw somebody ask if there's a release date. No, but generally they usually release at the end of January or early February. So we just have to wait and see. But yeah, it'll be either late January, early February. They usually give people enough time to get it in the mail for the start of the season. So probably another 3 or 4 weeks to go before that. All right, I think that is it. Again, I just wanted to talk about Mascherano, about how I think he is the right coach for this season. I think that he developed, and I think that ultimately he had a good year. Yeah, he had a rough patch. And then Mark Nurse, I love collars on those kids. I do. He had a rough patch. He did. He had growing pains. But I think that that's allowed when you're a first-time coach. I'm all for it. I think he is the right guy for the job. And I'm excited to see what he does. I think that with the experience he has now, I think we're in good shape. So we'll see. We'll see. If you're listening on audio, we appreciate you listening to the MC. Leave us 5 stars in a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And the next time we'll be back, at least unless he decides to keep going with the Carmen Sandiego stuff and traveling around the world, KBD will be back also. But then if he's back, that means we got the new intro coming, right? Because we're waiting for the intro, but we're waiting for Chris for the intro. So new intro on the way next time you check us out with the Battered Herons. So until the next one, have a good one.